recipe again, and I'm using a butternut squash. A quarter of it I peeled already and made into little chunks, and this is going to go into the main dish that I'm going to show you today. I am using a few things I've never used before, and I did my prep work off camera, and I don't know if you've used these things before yourselves or not, but one of them is fresh ginger root. So I cut off a piece, peeled it, and then I have about a tablespoon of it minced. Minced means cut up really small. I also bought for the first time lemongrass, and this is one of the peels. So lemongrass is like celery, and no, I'm trying to think of, oh, like scallions, where you peel off a few of the outer leaves before you cut into it. So I peeled off some of these, and I had to mince about a tablespoon of it. And then later in the recipe, we actually put a stalk in the saucepan and let it cook, but then you remove this before you serve it. So lemongrass, and it does smell lemony. And I looked this up, and it's really a good source of nutrients, including calcium and iron, which is surprising. Now, the recipe originally calls for chicken and pumpkin. Well, I had the butternut squash, that's why I chose it, but pumpkin may be actually better for you than the butternut squash, so they're both awesome. And for the chicken, of course, as a vegetarian, I'm going to use this Quorn, Q-U-O-R-N, and the chicken tenders version, so they're little chunks, and these are still sort of frozen. Now, the prep work, the first half, is that you put some things in a Ziploc bag to marinate, and when it's chicken, they say to marinate it for about 4 hours. I don't think I need to do it 4 hours for the corn, so I'm probably going to be able to occupy myself for an hour before I decide I want to finish the recipe. So let's do the first part of it then. We're supposed to add the chicken or not chicken. So I've got a cup of the corn into this bag, and then I took about a half of a red pepper, and you need to use a quarter of that in the marinade and a quarter of it when you cook it later. So this is for later, this is for now. So I have a little bit of red pepper and the minced lemongrass and the minced ginger. And I think that's all, but you know what? Chicken is moist, so I think I'll add just a drop of water, really like 1/8 to 1/4 of a cup of water in here, just a splash. And I think that's it. Lemongrass, the pepper, ginger, oh, and some curry. So you're using curry in this part and in the sauteing part later. So I'm going to use about a teaspoon of curry in here. Okay, so you shake it up, and again, this could be chicken. This is going to be some awesome spices. And the other ingredient that I didn't tell you about, you may be as shocked to hear as my sister was, is coconut milk. She was like, what do you mean? You don't use that stuff. It's got fat in it. I was like, no, I'm sure there's a better version. So we went to the store and I read all the labels, and you know what? They have a light. It's organic, but I would have bought it even if it wasn't. So they have light coconut milk, which has a lot less fat. So later on, we're going to use this. I'm going to I'm going to combine onion, garlic, curry powder, and the red pepper, and the lemon stalk, and then lemongrass stalk. Then I'm going to cover and cook over low heat until it's soft. Seems very weird. So here's my lid. Here's the spray, and I've already got things cut up. So you don't add the other stuff until after this becomes soft. Onion, pepper. Maybe for Christmas I'll get see-through, glass pans. That'd be cool. I guess the stalk needs to fit in there so I can cover it. No, that's just a there's some stock. Wooden spoon. I really wonder if that's some kind of typo. Or if she's using some kind of very special skillet where you could do this without there being a problem. I'm sure I'm going to have to add water. I forgot the curry. I have to pay attention because somebody else was paying close attention in one of my last videos where I said something about vanilla when I was really using cinnamon. I have no idea. That must have been some kind of brain cramp there. So more curry. And this is, the thing about this is that curry is supposed to be an awesome spice for keeping you healthy, keeping your joints healthy, and reducing inflammation. So this is very healthy. Now I've got a little bit of stickage going on here. Maybe the lady who made the recipe originally has never heard of simmer frying. Okay, so in just a minute, I'm going to add this mixture here, and it says salt and pepper and sugar. Well, I've got a little bit of Splenda over here. Maybe I'll just add a tad, because I don't know, there might be a reason why we need to add sweetener to it. And cook that for 2 minutes. And then you add the coconut milk, simmer for 1 minute. It says the mixture will be dry, but moistens as it cooks. And then you add the butternut squash, and you cook things. Cook it until the butternut squash gets soft. And when you're all done, you throw away the lemon stalk. Lemon grass stalk. I have a hard time saying that. Looks good. Adding the butternut squash, which is a little more than a half a cup. And it needs to be enough moisture so that I think at least, sorry, I've got the camera in my hand. That'll be good. I think that's good. I'm going to put in just a little bit of Splenda. Alright. It's going to be an awful while before that butternut squash cooks, at least 15 minutes. So, covering it. I'm going to let this simmer at just barely at medium. I'm going to let it simmer for the 15 minutes, but I'm going to keep an eye on it to make sure that it hasn't dried out. Right now it looks good. If it's the temperature's too high, it's going to dry out on you. You want to have a little bit of moisture left in it, a little bit of sauce. So make sure you keep an eye on yours, and I'll show you the finished product, which I think I'll have in 15 minutes, though it'll seem like that for you. Okay, we have corn and butternut squash curry. It's beautiful. I will caution you not to have the heat too high because it will dry up quickly. I would have some water nearby to add in case it dries up. I added too much water, then I had to cook it a little bit longer to get it not runny. I'm taking out the lemongrass stalks now. And the butternut squash cooked quicker than I thought it would. So it was only about 15 or so minutes. And here it is. Nice and colorful, yellow, orange, red. Smells fantastic. And it's full of good vegetables, of course, but also good herbs or spices that are really good for your body. There you go. It's not as hard as I made it seem, so I hope you'll give it a try. Like I said, it smells wonderful.